Today, we're going to talk about a psychological trick that'll help you actually follow through and accomplish your financial goals.
Welcome to Wisdom and Wealth, where we talk about the human side of money. Join us as we dive beyond the numbers, unpacking the psychology of money to equip you with the tools you need to be wise in wealth.
I'm Brendan Frazier, Chief Behavioral Officer at RFG Advisory. And have you ever told yourself that this is the month that I'm going to stick to my budget, or I'm finally going to stop spending on these things that I don't necessarily need, only just to fall off track a few days later? If it sounds familiar, trust me, you're not alone. And no, it's not that you're lazy or undisciplined or can't do it. What most people don't know, what you don't get told, is that it's because your brain is actually wired to prioritize immediate rewards over long-term goals. But here's the good news. Like I mentioned, there's a psychological tool that we can use called a commitment device that helps you finally be able to overcome that challenge and follow through to accomplish your goals. So what we're going to do is explain what this is, why it works, and then give you some real-world examples of how it plays out. And at the end, you'll get 4 specific ways to start using commitment devices in your financial life today. Most of us know what we should do. We should spend less than we earn. We should save consistently. We should stick to the plan. We should stay invested. But doing those things, that's a completely different story. Why is that? Because of something called the present bias. The present bias is our tendency to overvalue immediate rewards, for example, like a $6 latte, at the expense of long-term goals like financial independence. Another way to look at this is what we call the battle between our current self and our future self. Now, this same battle exists when you eat dessert late at night that you know isn't good for you. Your current self sits there and it says, hey, this looks good, you deserve this, you had a long day, you should reward yourself with this. And it's really, really selfish. The current self is really selfish. Meanwhile, it says, hey, that future version of yourself, that future you that in 5 years wants to be in good shape, you'll figure it out later on down the line. In fact, Hal Hershfield, author of the book, The Future Self, has conducted studies that show we see our future selves as nothing more than a stranger. We're just as likely to do something for ourselves in 5 or 10 years from now as we are for our neighbor down the street that we've never met before. So the problem isn't a lack of knowledge or good intention. It's that our brains just simply aren't built for future-oriented decision-making. So here's a psychological tool to help fight the battle. In the summer of 1830, there's a guy named Victor Hugo. He was facing what was apparently an impossible deadline. 12 months earlier, Victor had promised his publisher a new book. But for those 12 months, instead of doing the hard work of writing a new book, his current self found other things to do. He spent the year pursuing other projects, entertaining guests, and basically delaying the work he was supposed to be doing. So when it came time to finally sit down and get this book written and published, Hugo concocted what most people would probably consider to be a really strange plan to help beat and overcome his procrastination. He took all of his clothes and asked an assistant to lock them away in a large chest where he couldn't see them. He didn't have any clothes to wear to go outside. He didn't have anything to wear to go party and entertain his guests. He remained in his study and wrote furiously for the fall and winter of 1830. And then to everyone's surprise, The Hunchback of Notre Dame was published 2 weeks early in January of 1831. Victor Hugo leveraged the power of a commitment device. A commitment device is something that helps you stick to a decision that you've already made before temptation strikes. It works by either making bad behavior more costly or locking in the good desired behavior ahead of time. It's kind of like installing guardrails on a winding mountain road. You're protecting yourself from veering off course. One of the best known examples of a commitment device in finance comes from a study that was done in 2006 in the Philippines, where researchers introduced to investors a special savings account. It was a voluntary commitment device. The people that opted into this account could not withdraw their money until a certain date or a certain goal was met. The result that they saw is those who signed up for this locked account increased their savings by 81% compared to a control group. That's the power of a commitment device designed to accomplish the desired behavior. Now let's talk about how you can use this in your own financial life. Here are 4 practical commitment devices that you can implement today. Number 1, you may have heard this before, it's not a novel idea, but it's powerful, is set up mechanisms to auto-save and auto-invest your money. Set up automatic transfers to go to whatever account the money is supposed to go to without you having to step in the way and make it happen. Otherwise, your current self will sit there when it knows it's supposed to make a transfer into your retirement account and say, you know what, I could save that money for my future self, or I could spend it today. Set it up to be automated to happen by itself for you without you having to get involved. You never see the money in your account, and so you're not even tempted to spend it. Number 2 is publicly declare what your goal is. Use the power of social accountability. Whatever it is that you want to do, whatever it is that you want to accomplish, tell a friend what you're doing. Post it publicly, share it publicly, or there's even apps out there that let you publicly declare your goals. Basically, social pressure equals increased follow-through. Number 3, restricted access accounts. You have a savings account likely already, but if you find yourself dipping into it more often than you want, open a savings account at a completely different bank where you don't even have a debit card associated with it, so that you have no visibility into it and no easy access to spending that money. Number 4, finally, have a market downturn plan. A plan that's created when you're in a cold, rational state that's gonna tell you how to behave when you're emotional. Come up with how you wanna act when you're thinking logically, not when you're reading the news about the market plummeting yet again. What you do is you map out in advance, ideally with your advisor, exactly what has to happen, exactly what the parameters are for you to be able to sell, and then you set out exactly what the parameters are, what has to happen for you to get back in. Again, the key is you're making this decision in a rational state instead of an emotional one. You're using a commitment device to bind yourself to the future desired behavior. The key principle in all this is make it harder to fail and easier to succeed. Your future self is counting on you. With the right system in place, follow through won't feel like a grind, it'll feel inevitable. As always, if you have any questions, if you want to talk through this, reach out, contact your advisor. And until next time, stay wise and well.